What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Daily Refinement. This is the live mastermind call. I'm doing this at 6 in the morning Pacific Standard Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You're welcome to join at patreon.com/daily refinement, and I'll give you the link. So today, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Um, and the first one, we'll just start with this topic that Dwayne brought up, which is the concept of local sale. I get probably 10 emails a day saying, Chris, can you review this lot on Facebook Marketplace and see if it's a scam? There's no way for me to do that. Like, how would I know? I don't have the time to review everybody's potential deals, and even if I do, there's no way to tell um, if it's a scam or not. You have to do your own research. So I like this idea from Dwayne saying, maybe start developing a group of local people you trust. That's not easy to set up. A network of people takes time, just like everything else. But I want to just point out the overlying theme of this is retail versus resale. In either one, the relationships are a little bit different. If you are a retailer, then you have vendors, wholesalers, distributors. Your contacts are all business to business, meaning you're dealing with businesses to supply you inventory. Most of the people watching and most of us are looking to have resale companies, and those companies are very different. Resale is like consumer people supplying you, people looking for stuff for you, very different unless you have like a scout. So Dwayne, if you had a scout that was like looking in your area looking for specific deals, and you're paying them a bird dog fee or a finder's fee for bringing you deals, that's more of a job. That's what I'm trying to do. I want a scout that has a job position, not like one person that has a pallet of shoes, that's or one person has a pallet of makeup. I feel like you don't want to invest your time into things that are only one off, even relationships.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see the point in that.
I also the example of when I went to the I go to meetup sometimes and people say like want to exchange numbers and I just say no. I'm like, you're just like Fight Club. You're just a single serving friend. No offense to you, but I don't want to build something with you over time, and I know it takes a long time. It's like when I was initially dating, I rarely go beyond the first date because I don't want to waste that person's time. I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for, and that I think that's important. So, one last comment before we get into this, which was yesterday. Bill was talking about his eBay dropping and his Amazon growing, and this is really important to recognize. You only have a small amount of attention. For Bill to earn money faster, he actually needs to stop trying new things, because now he's talking about spending $2,000 on a wholesale course. I'm okay with that if you're going to just do wholesale, but he's got 10 other plates spinning. Just adding wholesale means that all all the other plates except for wholesale will drop, and it's really 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 hard to recover. So like everyone in the group needs to just write down maintenance is easier than growth. And that's what we were talking, Joe and I talked about this with the don't hire people to grow to where you want to be. Hire someone to maintain it. Small steps. There's no going from zero to $30,000 a month. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of steps in between that. um but let's go to Joe. Joe, good morning. What are you working on?
Everything.
I know, right?
Minimalizing. Um, we've got our goal of 300 items listed this
Mm-hmm.
week. Yesterday, did not help. I had one of the biggest shipping glitches ever. I had a huge weekend. I don't. We did a little over $3,000 in sales this weekend. So I had like 80 orders to ship out yesterday, and I went to print the first 50 labels. I was expecting my Rolo printer to just boom print them in like a minute. Well, eBay, lovely eBay, I love you, eBay. It glitched, um, so I was not able to print my labels bulk. I had to go back and print them all individually. So it took like 4 hours to ship when it should have taken like 30 minutes. So that was a little bit of a hindrance. So we're getting back on track today with getting everything done for our 300 items listed. Whitney and Wally, they still, our VA, they were still able to get their quota met. But as far as for me, keeping their queues full so that they don't have to stop, I'm a little behind that. So I've got to work a little bit harder today to get that done. So that's kind of the goal today, is to get caught up with those things so that they can keep moving like a well-oiled machine. And then I've got to get some extra work done because we are filming on Friday and Saturday. So I didn't account for that. That was a little poor planning on my part. And so I've got to get caught up in that. So got to work a little bit harder to get it done. But all in all, the schedule is staying the same. We still did some YouTube videos yesterday, so we're still keeping on point with our goal of content creation. So I'm still excited, even though eBay was a massive letdown yesterday. I was still excited about the sales, and we did that. We only listed, I think, 200 items last week, and we still had a massive weekend of sales. So it was exciting.
Did you say your name is Joe?
Yes, sir.
Joe, hey man, my name is Dwayne. I love the hat.
Huh?
I love the hat.
Thank you. It came off a pallet that we bought. It's like, I'm going to keep that. I love black, and it had the flag on it. So I'm like, that's mine.
Yeah, that's definitely a keeper. Did you serve? Are you vet?
No, my dad served. My grandfather served. My wife's father, he served in the Air Force. Her mom, my mother-in-law, she works for the civil service. So we're all interconnected with the military.
I am too, and I just want to say, hey man, thanks to your family. You're appreciated.
Thank you.
Joe, that is a important theme that's come up a couple of times now, which is you need to sort of buffer time, because I haven't had a week of eBay ever. That's exactly how it's supposed to happen. I write it down, 200 items a week is my goal, but it doesn't work 40 at a time.
Yeah.
Ever. It's not like that. And it made me realize that like a fireman, they know how to do everything, but most of the time they do nothing. And I think that's actually how the owner needs to be. If you own a resale business, you kind of have to you have to know how to do everything, but you're just filling in the blanks, making sure everything is running smoothly, because once every 20 hours there's a fire.
Yeah.
So you've got to you have to be focused to be able to go and do it, because the book I'm reading right now is the Outwitting the Devil, and they talk about drifting, and that is the number one difficulty of reselling, is the drifting part. You have something come up and it throws you off your main thing. You just took 3.5 hours extra to ship. A whole bunch of stuff did not get done during that time. And so it's really important to try to create that buffer. I'm now realizing, so Dave B in the chat is asking, what is the realistic net profit margin when scaled? This is a good question. I think a fully operational, you doing it at home, minimizing costs, you can make between 20% and maybe 30%. This is if you just have a little bit of help, like one helper or something. And it's 50% margin if you do it yourself and you're not counting your own time, which you should. But if you're paying yourself 20 to 30%, if you move to a warehouse and now you pick up the cost of the building, there's different insurance. Even internet is now $200 a month because it's different for warehouses. You see margins fall between 5 and 20%, usually sub 10 when you're running one of those warehouses, because you have more help. So it is scary when you look at that. That's why it's incredible looking at FBA, because they're utilizing the warehouse workers from Amazon to cut that cost. But then the Amazon fee is higher. Mm-hmm. And if you're selling mainly brand new goods, you're paying up to a third in Amazon fees and shipping. And traditionally Keystone pricing is 50% of retail. So that's 88% already with no other fees, just an eBay shipping and your product. You're already at 12% if you're running perfectly. So it can be scary. And when you look at these, Walmart has a 1% profit margin. That's scary. You know, do we want to be Walmart? That's like one hiccup and you're
It's
you're
scary
done.
until you start adding all the zeros behind all those deposits that they make.
I
And then
know. You got to be good
scary
though.
goes right
You got
away
to be good.
fast.
That's the brilliance of Walmart, not going out of business with that small of a margin. You need a lot of smart people working there.
Yeah,
There's a
I've
lot
read
of
Sam Walton's autobiography and met him twice. He was an
Really?
incredible person.
That's a really good book, Made in America. Everybody read that book if you're going to be in e-commerce.
it was back in, I guess, the year 2017, Chris. We did $192,000 in sales from our home, just me, and I had an assistant that would do some stuff here and there, but that wasn't consistent throughout the year. And then last year we did $367,000 in sales and revenue, but I made less money last year by like 20 grand than I did the year when it was just me at $192,000 in revenue. It was crazy, but we've talked about, the learning experiences from, uh, I scaled to grow instead of the other way, which we were talking about now, is you get as busy as you can, and then you hire somebody, not hire somebody to grow.
Yeah, that's a great point. We have Dave B in the chat saying that he is at equilibrium. He's listing 175 items a week, selling 175 items a week. I call that like reseller nirvana. When you reach like this pace, I think that's the perfect time to hire somebody. Maintain that while you try and grow, because sometimes people get there and they do something else and that goes away. So Fat Elvis is asking, when do you make the decision to leave your normal 9 to 5? Let's go to Peter. Peter, good morning. Thank you for joining us. You are on mute.
My answer to that question is when you have way more than enough money stacked up in your basement and you won't ever have to worry about paying bills again.
That never happens though.
Exactly.
So my
Yeah,
recommendation
you
always
got
is
to
keep
jump
your
when
day
you
job.
jump. That's what I did. I told you yesterday, I was working for a guy that was really nasty. I was making really good money, $30, $40 an hour, but it wasn't worth listening to what he was putting out. And then I started developing a hernia, which turned into a double hernia that I just had operated on 4 days ago. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to go do what I've been planning on doing for 20 years and selling all the stuff in my house on eBay and getting rich. Yeah. It wasn't quite that easy. I mean, I still get excited when I sell more than one thing a day. So
I get excited every sale. Peter, do you consider the 9 to 5 still? When did you leave that?
I left the 9 to 5 in 2006. I've been doing this since then, with some other side hustles. But it's funny when sales are slow on a couple platforms that you rely on, how quickly my mind will say, well, maybe I should be working 9 to 5. Maybe I should go back corporate. I'm obviously not going to do that. I'm going to stick to my guns here because it's a busy time of year. But yeah, I left that game in 2006.
did you just jump off and start selling?
I was working, I came out of college, was working in a marketing position, and I just hated my boss, really. And I was still selling on eBay, just kind of part-time. And I just said, you know what, let's scale this. So I enrolled a good friend of mine. We got a 2,000 square foot warehouse. We got going and never really looked back. It's been a roller coaster ride for sure, but it's been worth it. Definitely been worth it. But yeah, I still have those thoughts. I think we all do, like what 9 to 5 would look like, and just having a regular paycheck come in.
That's this has come up a couple of times too. Most people don't quit their job, they quit their boss.
Yeah.
Like I loved my job before my boss died out of nowhere. And somebody else came in. He had a heart attack at 52. New boss came in, total jerk, micromanaged everything, didn't take, like if somebody would come in and this is an example. I worked at a Lexus dealership. Somebody would come in and say, hey, I bought a car from you guys. I want to get my tow hitch installed here at a Lexus dealership instead of the local shop because I trust you guys more. They're offering the service for $150 at the local shop. I know you guys charge more, but the retail is $600. Can you guys do anything about it? He would never do anything about it. We would always lose the business. They would never come back. It's like our cost is also like $60 on that service. Make the customer a deal and keep them here. No foresight like that. And if you just do that over and over again, nobody wants to work for you because you're in the customer service business. And Lexus is like Nordstrom. You're supposed to do everything for the customer. It's almost like I was trained to like do it myself, figure out how to do it for the customer so that they don't go somewhere else. If they're there, you take care of them. And the boss that I had before, he would like leave golfing to go help somebody. And he only needed to do that a couple of times before every single person working there just did everything he's told us to do. And when that happens, it's so rare to find a company that kills it. So also everyone should write down that if you find a one good employee, you can totally transform your business. It's like one person like yourself, and it's commonly husband and wife.
Yeah, that can go both ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One person can destroy your company too.
No, I mean the husband and wife thing can go both ways. You can have
Oh yeah,
a
for
great
sure.
relationship and have it work perfect, like Rally Roots seems to be, or you
Yep.
can not and have it work exactly opposite and have it deteriorate everything that you're trying to get done.
They're really special being able to hang out with each other that often. That's not easy.
Yeah,
It
both
doesn't
both
seem to
need
be,
the
but you know, we only
passion.
see them on video. You see them more up close and personal.
Yeah, no, I've met Ryan and Allie twice or three times now. They're really, really, really nice people. But in order, I'll tell you the outlier is Callie. For the Rally Roots operation, she fills in all the little things that happen. As an example, when the glitch happened, they had her go through every listing and adjust it. You know what I mean? That's a huge difference versus you taking time out of your day to go do it. And then you're all frazzled, and you like I don't hate eBay. Even though they're really complicated and weird, I still love eBay because it's still like there's still, in my opinion, it's still the best place to move a pre-owned item. So I don't want to stop. I don't want to start hating like my number one income source. It doesn't make sense. So like it's just that it's just like a distressed lover. That's how I consider eBay. Like I want to stay with her. Just there's a lot. It's complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, there you go. You got it right about that. I don't know, man. I have a thing about the listing fees. Listing fees drive me nuts. I watch all the
Yeah.
little coupons that come through and all of my store allowances, anything to avoid that 30-cent fee for putting an item up. Yet I'll go to another platform and pay them 20, 22 cents to do the same thing. It's just something about eBay and the way that they just kind of slide one in here and slide one in there when you're not looking, and if you're not paying attention, you know, it'll start adding up. Also, though, I've learned that if you call them on it, they'll go in and wipe 90% of everything out and go, okay, well, let's just take care of this whole chunk right here
They
and
will.
use it as this and that, and poof, away goes your bill. So
It's a little bit annoying because you can reduce your bill by complaining, but the amount of time that it takes to do that, plus the state of mind you have to be in to complain, is bad. I try to only email customer support, and I recommend people do that too because it takes time to call, and then it throws you off your rhythm. Um, one more thing to add in is somebody in the chat is asking about t-shirts. Is it possible to run 100% t-shirt resale company? 100%. T-shirts is one of the only clothing items that's not seasonal. If you look at the information on Terapeak, it's flat all year. So you just need a large enough inventory. And if I was going to go the t-shirt route, I would try to do liquidation of like college team stuff, NCAA or NBA, because there's a lot of that stuff that's like 50 cents for 2,000. But you would need a huge inventory to pull that off.
or do what China's been doing, which is get the old concert prints and making
Yeah.
those up as new t-shirts and selling them because they were making a killing before.
Yeah,
Donald ran them out.
that's called it's counterfeiting new old stock. The term is NOS. If you guys want to look this up, look at NOS for, let's say, vintage goods.
Is
And
it illegal?
it's illegal. Yeah, you can't reprint a brand's likeness and make money off it. So
There's no statute of limitations on it? Because we're talking about 30-year-old concert tours.
No, I'm saying if you were to remake the 30-year-old concert tee and sell it as new, that's illegal.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So what?
I mean, I was about to say, I see Nikki Sixx in videos right now from Motley Crue selling China-made Motley Crue t-shirts. And
Yeah. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, I had a gentleman on the show that did $20,000 a week. His name was the Straight Eight. He's from Chicago, and I was like, that's really unusual. I don't meet that many people solo making $20,000 a week, right? That's very unusual for gross revenue. It's $1 million a year by yourself. Well, I only know a handful of people who pulled that off, and this is amazing. Like 11,000 people on YouTube watched that show, right? And in that show, they were able to figure out his store by the background of the YouTube video. So like Peter's background right there, the color of the wall, somebody recognized it from a listing and pulled it up. He was selling counterfeit vintage goods. So he would find companies that went out of business. Let's say Pontiac. I think Pontiac went out of business, but they suck anyway. But assuming actually Saturn is a better example. Saturn car company is gone. He was making vintage Saturn stuff, brand new from China, shipping it in. There's still some people who love Saturn, selling those shirts. Or he was selling actually porcelain signs. He was making fake porcelain signs, and he was not getting in trouble because every single company was out of business. He didn't have there was no Vero rights holder, so he was it was not illegal. And I don't, it's kind of the unethical part. Okay, it was unethical because he was representing it as brand new. That's the unethical part. He was listing them one at a time. Oh, I just found this vintage sign from a long time ago, and he was getting $400 or $500 for a $20 item from China. And he had the lowest feedback rating I had ever seen, like 82%. Or something like just crazy low on eBay, and no suspension because no Vero rights holder. They literally, it was saying totally fake, waste of my time, garbage seller. Those are like 200 of those, and he still was on eBay because there was no negative.
there was another eBay seller that had a YouTube channel that got caught up in some stuff like that too. I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just stay away from that stuff. You can do it legitly.
No,
You
man,
just get rich a little
Go
slower.
straight across the board, 100%. Now, and something I think it was either you or Steve mentioned one time, and I use it as one of my rules: is you take any flaws you find in the items you're selling, and you make them your features. Take pictures of them, put them in item
Yeah, that's a good
features in the
point.
bottom. Here it is. This is the way it is. If you don't want it, good. Leave it. Don't order it and get it. And call eBay 10 minutes after you get it and go, oh man, it was scratched. Well, yeah, it said it 6 times before you got it.
Yeah, you can also put that in the title: defect, flaw, scratch, read, all in caps. So one thing about the eBay title is you can write something in the title like awesome or special or needs work or broken. You can put that in the title, and you can't on any other platform. So
I also, when I do my titles, I still do all lowercase because of Rally Roots starting. A couple when I very first started, they had heard some rule at eBay Open about not using caps in listings anymore, because the consumers were thinking that you were shouting at them. So I still all of my titles are non-caps.
everyone in the chat, and if you guys haven't heard of convertcase.net, you can take an all caps title, put it in there, and change it to capitalized case, which is the first letter of every word being capitalized. That's the preferred Google method for search.
Grammarly does it too.
So Convert Case is a really cool tool that helps you do that quickly. And many of the stores that I know that do really well, the brand is all caps. Very common practice amongst large sellers, even though it's like shouting, but they're shouting the brand. That's like a concept that some people do, like Shinola watch, with accessories. So very common for people to go that route.
It's very hard to type out a title in all lowercase, man. I mean, looking at it and typing it just doesn't look right, but it's what they recommended. So I just kind of started following it, and as things have worked or haven't worked, I've stayed with or gone away from. And I'm still kind of in that process. I try this or that and see what's working and what doesn't work. Hoping that eventually when I hit on it and I start selling, I don't know, 4 or 5 things a day or whatever the number may be, I stick with that and stay there. That's part of the reason why I'm here, is to listen to what everybody else is doing that's already been there and done that, and save myself some of those extra mistakes that I seem to keep finding myself in. And of course, to have the ability to ask questions. You can't just pick up the phone and call eBay and say, yeah, what do I do about this return, eBay? Because then they're going to go, oh, well, hold on, return, really? And start writing typing in all the little points.
I have another tip from the chat, which is fantastic. So somebody's asking about my opinion on Bonanza. Bonanza is fantastic. So is Truegether. Everyone should use both of these sites. They're both free, no listing cost. And the way that I organize Truegether and Bonanza is I have an email address that's only my email, only my sales emails. So the sales emails are, you have sold an item on Mercari, you have sold an item on Poshmark, you've sold an item on Truegether, Bonanza, whatever. The email that I use that is sales@dailyrefinement.com for my company. That email is separate because sometimes, especially if a platform only has one sale, sometimes you forget about it, right? So that's bad. You're going to have a defect on that platform for shipping too slow. So Truegether and Bonanza are free. They hook up into your eBay store and do listings for you. It's much more effective if the item is brand new. But if it's not brand new, it's okay. It'll still sell well on Truegether and Bonanza, but it's free. It's a free way to increase your traffic. You don't have to do anything, but you do need to make sure that it ends on eBay. Most of the time, I'd say only 1 or 2 times in my career, I've sold a few hundred items on both those platforms. Only a few times it doesn't end the item on eBay. So you got to go and make sure that it changed the quantity. So how that company works is they charge you a final value fee, like 10% or something. And they're in Bonanza, but it's free. It's a free way to increase your traffic. You don't have to do anything. And that's like how you, they charge usually less than eBay because they don't have a processing fee. Sometimes they do, but you can also run a slight sale. And that's the thing, like everyone needs to recognize too, that every platform has a different price. I have shoes on Poshmark that are $12 or $13 more than eBay because the market is stronger. Like rain boots. Rain boots for me sell better on Poshmark and they have a shipping discount. It's like a win-win.
That's one of my points, is to keep looking for places where the things that I sell the best, and put each one in its own little spot, since there's so many places to sell out there nowadays.
Yep. Or one more comment on the all caps. So Rally Roots is in the chat. What's up, Ryan and Allie? They are saying they don't recommend using all caps. I don't either, but I'm just saying there are large companies that just do all caps on the brand. And I understand why they're doing that, because customers can read. They want to stand out from their competition. And all caps to me looks like you're yelling. But I understand why big companies do that. But it's, Google does not like that. When you're searching Google results, sometimes they'll even correct that and not do that.
That's where I got that tip from, was watching one of their videos when I first started.
Yeah.
It was
I will make sure, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect search. I know eBay does not recommend all caps. I don't think anybody recommends all caps. Let's just put it that way. No one recommends all caps, period. No legitimate source. But I still see it. That's my point is I don't want people to like it's personal preference, but use convert case if you're using sell similar, which is the way I recommend you list. Sell similar, change the item specifics, change the pictures, list. A lot of times the titles are going to be screwed up. Make sure that you go in and fix it. And this is another odd thing. Sometimes when you go through sell similar and you look at the title, you'll see something like let me give you an example. The top selling Ray Dunn mug on eBay has in the title awesome free shipping in all caps. Okay, that is totally against what everyone is talking about, right? The thing is, Ray Dunn mugs are so common. What they want to do is rank number one for the term Ray Dunn mug. So they don't have any other words that rank in that title, but people can read awesome in all caps and free shipping as they're scrolling through the listing. So my point is, when you put it in all caps, it's not like it's no longer an eBay search. It doesn't disappear off of people's search. It's still there. It's just kind of I think the reason why eBay shoots that or wants that thing is because it's a terrible user experience. I don't want to read all caps, especially for something that's not related. But again, it's not going to hide your listing because eBay needs to make money. They need to find it. Oh, True Together and are the two sites. Together, I think, is TRU Together. Video game sources saying terrible internet etiquette. And I like the somebody mentioning that every single defect should get its own bullet point. Don't write long paragraphs. People don't read those. A bullet point, scratch on left lens. Gucci, on the left lens, there was a scratch. I put scratch in the title and I put in the bullet point. See in the description, condition description and the description below. See photo of left lens, there's a scratch. Please make sure before you buy this. You will have to replace the lens. I would even explain how to fix it.
Yeah, I have to agree with
And
that.
lucky the prescription.
I agree with what Dwayne was mentioning, making your defects the highlight, so that there's nothing hidden, right? When the customer gets it, they know exactly what they're getting. And to be honest, now that when I'm sourcing inventory, if I'm not looking for brand new goods, if I'm buying used goods, which I do quite a bit, I try to avoid any defects. If it has a stain or a hole, I've learned to just pass on it unless it's something really rare and I know that no matter what the condition is, it's going to sell for a decent profit. It's kind of sped up the whole process too, because if you have to take less pictures of defects or mention the defect, make sure that it's in the description as well. Like it just kind of slows things down. I think there's enough inventory out there. I don't know. That's just my personal preference. Try to avoid those.
That and the like I was saying last night, that the other tip that I got, it's been the biggest thing to help me, is prior to sending something that I have sold, I always take another photograph of each side, put it together with a message, send it on the platform where the item was purchased, and the photograph saying, all right, here's pictures of your item in being prepared to ship. And it seems to give them an extra minute or two in case there's buyer's remorse in there, in case you forget something, which I have done more than enough times I want to admit. They can point it out, and it makes it, it also, if they haven't paid you yet, if they did a buy it now, or you agreed to an offer and they hadn't gone in and went ahead and paid, you send that, it speeds them up quite a bit. And I mean, payment seems to come through within an hour or so after putting those pictures out there. You're obviously not going to ship it out without getting your payment first, but it seems to help in both categories and has been a lot of assistance. I've even gotten as some of my feedback, yeah, he communicated with me and told me pretty much right off the rip, it had a scratch on the top. And if I didn't want one with a scratch, not to buy that one. And we're happy about it. Happy customers makes, happy us. We sell more, they buy more. I owned a locksmith company, a service business, for over 30 years myself, and worked for my father for 10 years before that. So I totally come from a service and customer oriented background. And I've just kind of incorporated that right on into what I was doing, even though I started out from the bottom. Like I was somewhat taught by Chris and Steve and the rest of them sell the stuff around your house, which I am still trying to get rid of and have about 200 more items I keep finding to add.
So you do this for every item you sell?
Every item I sell at this point. Now, when I get as big as you and I'm selling 9 or 10 things a day, I find it to be almost impossible, but it'll be integrated the whole
The
time.
question
So,
would be, you know, why start a system that's you're not going to carry through when you get larger?
unless it's integrated, unless I continue it on and integrate it right on through.
Yeah.
You know, if
I
I
just
go
did-
straight to new stuff, it'll be a lot easier to handle because obviously you can't go taking the new stuff out of the package and taking photographs of it. But even sending them a picture of the actual package and saying, okay, this is what you bought. Here's the front, here's the back. Seems to work a lot better. At least it has for what I've been doing. And you got to remember when I first started this, or since most of what I've sold is my own stuff that I've had for years. So some of it works and it's great, but it's not exactly what they were expecting. Once I got it straight with them, what they were getting and everything seems to have worked that kink out a whole lot easier as well.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that if you be a little more on the front end and more pictures, you know, talking about the things, a better description. I'm like, it's your business, you can do it, but like, they should have confidence that what they're buying is what they're actually getting when they make an offer or they buy the item. But that's just my opinion.
Right. And I like the date stamp on the photographs too. I have an issue where a girl said that I sent her a crystal dish that was chipped around the edges, and I had taken photographs before I sent it. She said, fine, we'll take it up with the platform, which she never did. Instead, she went to her bank, and of course her bank went to PayPal, and I sent PayPal the photographs, and PayPal said, oh, fantastic. These are perfect. We'll go discuss this with her bank and get back with you in a week or so. And it hadn't been quite a week yet. So I'm waiting to see the end result of that as well.
Yeah.
If I can
All I
just
told the girl was I take
Wait.
returns 100%. Can I get your address or your email address so I can send you a free label? And as long as it's the same item I sent to you, I will give you a full refund. And her response was, well, I don't trust it now. I don't think you're going to give me all my money back. So we'll take it to the platform. And next thing I hear from PayPal.
Well, Dwayne, I think it's a great idea what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to go above and beyond on the customer service side. And I also agree, I think Joe is trying to get at that, you know, to scale your sales, it'll be very difficult for you to do that extra work, to take those photos and to communicate with the buyer yet another time. I think what you're doing is trying to avoid the return to make sure that that buyer is confident with the purchase. But I think you can also achieve that with your upfront listing, with the pictures, your description, and ensuring that everything is outlined there. Now, there's been times where, you know, in the like packaging something, you notice you missed something in the description or the photo. You see an extra stain or a snag or something. In those circumstances, I will do what you do is I'll take a picture of that and I'll send it to the buyer and just say, hey, we noticed this during shipping. Are you okay if we still ship?
Yeah, see, I had that happen recently where eBay had changed the listing, and the listing stated it was new in the box, and the original listing said it was new, but it wasn't in the box. I noticed that she had bought it with eBay's description, and sent her picture, or sent them pictures, sent them description, told them what the deal was, everything. Never heard from them. They got the item that day, the day they got it, returned it, and then I sent them and then send a letter back. Sorry, I didn't get your email until after I got the item. What, did you just log on, buy it, and log back off and never to be heard from again until the day it shows up? And that's kind of odd, but okay. So, I mean, it can work. It can work in a detrimental way and in a helpful way. It's just something that I started trying to make things go a little smoother, at least while I'm gaining traction and getting bigger. And now that you put it the way that you put it, yeah, I see exactly what he's saying. Basically, I'm going to need to cost in that expense if I were to, say, have a customer service person that did things just similar to that, or things, have a department that handles that. if I
Yeah,
wanted to keep it.
you're spending dollars to save potential pennies.
Yeah, I'm really good at that.
Hey,
Actually,
Dwayne, I'm
that's
definitely,
probably why
I'm going
I'm
to change
here.
the subject a little bit because this is not that actionable, but we'll move on to something different. Let's go. Peter, what are you working on?
Well, Chris, I know that a few days ago we talked about rejigging my schedule where it looks like having a full week of sourcing, a Monday to Friday source day, and then the following week would be in office, photographing and doing all that stuff. So I'm just setting myself up for that so that starting on Monday, I'll be on the road sourcing all week. And then so this week I'm just working on, I've got about 100 pieces of unlisted merchandise that I'm just gonna list. I'm gonna make sure that my inventory system is tight, it's clean. That way when the influx of inventory comes in, I'm ready to rock and roll. So that's what I'm up to this week.
Okay.
I also just wanted to mention, like, this whole eBay glitch thing, I've really noticed a slowdown in sales. And I had like a revelation yesterday. It's been kind of like a blessing in disguise because I realized how dependent I am on eBay as a platform and how dependent I am on the sales that it generates. When eBay is good, it's great, you know, like money's coming in, but when it's not, it really affects what I'm able to do. So I'm just really present to how important it's going to be for me to diversify, to get on more platforms, to figure out ways of generating additional income from other avenues. I know that, Chris, like, that's what you're up to. You've got revenue coming from multiple sources. You're not solely relying on your resale abilities, right? So I'm really present to that, and I'm going to be working on a plan to kind of diversify that portfolio, so to speak, because a glitch comes up or something happens, a competitor comes into the market and sales slow down, and we can't solely rely on one or two platforms to achieve what we want. So that's just what I got present to with the glitch.
One more thought before we move on to Mickey. Jack in the chat is saying he likes to focus on offense, using that time that you would and energy on returns or negative buyers or shrinkage and focus on listing more. Usually that wins because you can't reduce shrink zero. Can't, but you can always list way more. You could list 10 times as much, but you can't reduce your return rate to zero. It's not possible. So you want to use that energy on growth. And also it's not just that's what eBay customer service I only email because of the mental real estate it takes up to call, and I was at a few representatives and it's like, let me guess, you're in a bad mood. That's like should be the first thing they say when they pick up the phone because everyone's always pissed. And that never helps anyway. It's better to just be cool if you are going to call in. Let's move to Mickey. Mickey, good morning. Can you chat for a few minutes?
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. What do you work?
Well, I'm working on editing my entire store because I figured out that none of my listings had sizes. So when the glitch first came out, I thought that it was okay because I didn't have any notifications. That error notification that comes up when you bulk list or bulk edit. And so I talked about last time I talked with you that I was going to start editing 5% a day. I started doing that and seeing all these errors. So I put everything else on hold to get my whole store edited. So that's fun.
Do you have a time where you go in and edit your listings? I might change my tune. Originally, I was thinking 4% a day during lunchtime, but maybe I might switch to once a week.
Well, I was blocking that in for, each day. It takes me about 30 minutes to do 5%. That's about 25 listings for me. And that was actually ending in sell similar. So
How is your niece doing?
I put her on hold because, you know, I can't feed her the listings, the new stuff. So she was
Okay.
doing okay.
Can
until
she
I-
be like a much needed boost if you need it?
What do you mean?
Like, can you just use her on call sometimes instead of a regular thing?
Yes, yes, absolutely. She works full time, so this was just, you know, just extra money for her.
All right. Let's go to Matt. Matt, good morning. Can you chat for a few minutes?
Sure. Let me go outside so I got better reception.
Matt has a really clear goal, guys, and he's always going to be the person I spotlight because he has a specific goal of 400 pants per week listed and sold. And with that kind of goal, there's no time for BS. There's no time for negativity. You got to crunch all week to get that goal.
That's right. Now, I'm going to show you guys where I plan on putting my container when I get it. Right there.
Oh, yeah. Hold on one second, Matt. Mickey, Maya is saying on the chat in the chat, can you have your niece fix the listings?
She's not really up to speed on that.
Okay.
She hasn't been working in it long enough. It's just faster for me to do it.
Yeah, yeah, a few people mentioned that. But yeah, I guess you're right. It would take some time to train her to do it. But let's go back to
Yeah.
Matt. Matt, oh wait, sorry to interrupt you, Matt, but the concept of your goal of 400 pants, in my opinion, is easier than 50 pants. Because 400 pants is no joke. You've got to really focus. There's no dabbling. You're not going to explore umbrellas.
Yep. I've thought about trying to do suits and shirts in my off time because it's like I'm pretty good at listing pants and selling pants, so I do it pretty quick. I got some time that I could focus on other things, but I don't know. I really just need to get this done and then, you know, have a personal life with my other time because I work really hard when I do work, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's also in the long run, it'd be better to have probably 300 listings and focus on your personal life a little bit instead of getting super burned out, probably. But you have a good system going where you can do that. But that's right. Instead of a hobby of a new category, maybe focus on the new lady friend.
Yes, just take some time to have some fun instead of thinking about work anymore. But yeah, I'm gonna get a 40-foot container hopefully today or tomorrow, and then I got to build shelves in it. But so that's like the bottleneck, you know. That's what's keeping me from really being clear and able to like do things efficiently and well, like, you know, streamline, you know.
Mm-hmm.
How are you thinking of building your shelves in there?
Well, get 2x4s, rip them down into 2x2s, and then just
Floor to
slap them
ceiling?
together. Yeah, that's I have a mobile home right here. I've got a single wide, and I turned the master bedroom into storage with 4 shelves like that, and I can fit about 3,000 pairs of pants in the master bedroom of a single wide. But I've got
Suggestion
3.
from experience, I would make them in sections at least so that you can pull them apart and move them around a little.
Yeah, I messed up when I built the shelves inside of the single wide. I'm gonna have to tear them all apart when I move. But
If you
they're not gonna be
do,
worth putting
10
back
foot by
together.
10 foot or 20 foot by 20 foot and stack them on top of one another and then bolt them down so they don't move, at least you can unbolt them and move them to different configurations. If you build them 40 foot straight up, they're going to be one hell of a sight to move. They're going to be really heavy. And I mean, how many places can you put a 40-foot shelf?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm definitely keeping that in mind for my next storage situation. My first one, I made that mistake. But
I have one that's sitting in my front yard. I used to use it for locksmith storage. Now I use it for personal storage and lawn care storage and everything else. I have a room in my house that I use for everything I sell online, but I'm sure there's stuff out there that's going to be discovered. I'll be selling online for it's over with as well. Where it was all stashed in the first place.
yeah,
So someone in the chat would probably end on this is asking how to set a clear and great goal every week. This is pretty straightforward. You pick an income goal, and then you figure out what your average sale price is on the items that you sell, and then you just reverse engineer how many items. So for example, Matt's looking for $10 profit per item and a $4,000 per week income. That's $200K a year. It's pretty straightforward. 400 pants, $10 profit minimum. He's getting a little more than that now, but that's the objective. And then also the objective has some room in case it doesn't pan out exactly. Can still cheap sell the item. The problem is, I think if you have only a $5 margin, sometimes you can't discount the item to get rid of it, and that's kind of an issue. But if you really know your niche, you can also reduce the price $10 to just get some cash flow back in your business as an option too. If you have a slow week, you have at least room to discount your store. But I find with certain brands, you're in trouble if you don't, like, certain brands you discount and they still don't move. Those are the brands you need to worry about.
Does anybody use a shipping service like ShipStation or Stamps.com or?
I use Pirate Ship and then just the built-in eBay. But there's a lot of shipping programs and they're all really cool. I like the ones also that focus on cubic shipping.
Yeah,
Those,
Stamps.com won't let you do that.
excuse me?
Stamps.com won't let you do that. At least that's the last that I heard out of
Oh,
them.
the cubic. Okay. Dave is asking an interesting question. Matt, how big could you scale? That's a good question.
I got mad space for storage containers.
You know, Teresa in the call, she sells them. Do you have
Oh,
her
okay.
info? If you want her info, text me. I'll text you back her number. You can.
I think it's going to be mostly a local thing anyway, because the transportation cost is pretty high. You know, you got to find somebody with the right truck and trailer to haul it.
That's true. So I guess this is a good question, Dave, on how much more can Matt scale. I would say Matt would have to really look at the solds and get an idea. I think the last time I checked, 20,000 pairs of men's slacks only sell on eBay per month. I don't know how many. I guess I could look. I wonder how many jeans sell on eBay. Let's take a look. Probably a lot.
Dude, I bet you like 20,000 pairs of Levi's sell every day. There's a ton of Levi's on there.
Let's see. So there's 4,400,000 jeans for sale. That's a lot. Sold. So 1.1 million jeans sell are sold in the last 90 days. Let's see. 12,000 pairs of jeans sell a day. That's a lot. That's a lot of freaking jeans. You're right on the money, Matt. 10,000 a day. Oh, okay. That's a good question. So Dave, you're right. Obviously, there are some restraints. That's what we're thinking of. One is space. Another one is there actually a market? Could he list that many? And another one is do you have a sourcing restraint? You do have a sourcing restraint.
Yes, I do all my sourcing myself right now.
Right.
Now, if I had other people doing sourcing for me, or if I bought online, liquidation or something, that wouldn't be an issue. But for now, it is.
Yeah. And that's also great because in your model, 200 cheap items really helps it.
Yeah, I just got the ability with cash flow to afford 400 pairs of pants a week. You know, I'm selling enough stuff to get enough money to purchase all those every week to grow to a point where I'm selling 400 a week, you know?
Yeah. No, that's excellent. That's the space, time, money, and then knowledge. And you have the knowledge. So especially, and that actually grows over time. You start to notice the nuances between one gene and the other. Yeah, Joe is saying that you could probably get to 500 per week. I wonder, I wonder if you could source all 5 days somewhere else or 4 days somewhere else.
That'd be a lot of driving, man. You'd spend 5 hours a day driving minimum where I live.
Yeah. No, I think it's the same here, just not a far distance sitting in traffic. Um, hmm.
Which is way
Um,
worse. I would much rather be doing 80 on the highway than 10.
I know. That's like when I was doing the Uber experiment, I would much rather drive in the suburbs. Even though like it's interesting. Even though you put more miles on your car, it's less hard on your car. It's like you know we when I worked for Lexus, we would get cars that had 150,000 miles that were on the original brakes, right? Like just 100% freeway driving. So it really helps your store, or it helps your maintenance costs stay down.
Yeah. Same thing with tractor trailers. You know, you have day cabs that have a local route every day and they get worn out quick. And then you got over the road tractors that have like team drivers, expedited freight, and they go 1.5 million miles before they need an engine, you know.
Wow. Days on 3 days. Are you so you have 2 days sourcing. What are the or how many days listing?
I list 4 hours every day, Monday through Friday, with my employee. Now I'm going to start going out of town one of those days. I did Monday last week. This week it'll be Friday.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to figure out which day is best for me to go out during the week so I can find the most amount of stuff. I just make up the 4 hours that I didn't work that day another day.
Got it. We have Joe Family Flips in the chat. He's doing 1 week sourcing, 1 week listing. Peter, how do you handle that? How do you alternate sourcing and listing?
Currently, I'm 2 days sourcing, 3 days listing and shipping. But that's going to change next week. I'm going to be out full week sourcing and then full week in the office, which I'm really excited about because I think I'll get into a real rhythm. My cash flow as well. I think I can manage. You know, I'm gonna allocate about $2,000 weekly for that source for that week out. I just think it'll be easier to kind of get into a groove with all aspects of the business rather than kind of splice it up, which I've been doing for years. So I'm going to do this for November, December, and then reevaluate and see if it's worth it, if I'm more productive that way.
Mickey, how do you source? Do you take a couple days off every day?
Yeah, I take a day or two a week, you know, try to reach my goal in those days.
Okay. Dwayne, do you have a listing schedule? I'm sorry, sourcing schedule?
Well, I went out and bought quite a few things in bulk that I'm still in the process of listing. But what
Okay.
I'll do is I will, after doing a few hours of listing, I'll stop and do things like look around for items that I might be able to pick up and add to what I'm already doing, and do my sourcing that way. I also do some of my other business tasks that way. I'll sit for 2 or 3 hours and get several things listed, and then I'll take a break and do something for an hour or two and go back to it and do another 2 or 3 hours and then take a break and
Okay.
do it that way for the most
I
part.
want to address Melly Lynn in the chat. This is really important. And so I really want people to focus on mental health because it's really, really important. She says, how can I get my family and husband to, she says, no one in my family or husband dreams like me. It makes me feel guilty when I want to just work on eBay. That is good. And okay, this is the thing that my wife said to me. She says, just because I understand doesn't mean it's okay. As an entrepreneur, you don't get to work 90 hours a week and go home and know your spouse. It doesn't work that way. Just because she understands that's what it looks like, it doesn't mean it's okay. I totally agree with that. I know tons of businessmen that don't know their families. It's not okay. Even if they make money, you have to do both. You have to have a smaller business and spend time with your family. I think it's in their complete right to hate you if you work on it at home. I can't even like take out my phone without my wife rolling her eyes. She's like, get your shit together. Be done when you get home. Work harder at work, so when you get home, you can actually take a break. No one is on all day. No high performer does that. The higher the performer, the more rest they take. That's how it is. It's not working 12 hours a day really crappy. That's not how you run a business.
Yeah, I
No one
started
does
out
that.
that way. I enforced a bedtime on myself in the whole 9 yards, a
Yeah.
set, go to bed, set, wake up sort of
But I'm
thing.
saying on the people side, I was just watching my friend Francis make a video. He's teaching people how to save money, and he just had a meetup at Costco, and people are saving money to the point where they don't have any more friends. What is the point of that? Like, there's there's people that were like, I don't have any more friends. They don't want to hang out with me. I'm like, imagine that. Imagine you never spending any money, never contributing anything, and your friends not wanting to hang out with you. What a novel concept. Yeah, you have to take care of your family, number one. There is no such thing as like it not taking a toll on your family. If you spend 5 hours working on your business instead of hanging out with your family, they will 100% hate you. Especially if you put yourself in their shoes. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, yeah, that's why my ultimate goal is to make my expenses zero, to be completely self-sufficient with making my own food and stuff, you know.
Yep.
Just right now, I'm trying to get enough money to afford land and equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's like you're just living life, you know.
Yeah, and that's going to be the reality for most people. Is I think that right now we live in a beautiful time where you can basically work for yourself. If you were to cobble together let's say you go online, you get a couple of writing jobs where you help people write articles, you learn a little bit of photography, do a couple of weddings here and there, you sell on eBay and resell, drive a little Uber. You could never talk to a single person and run your own life as long as you have low overhead. Right, that's really the key. If you want to make a lot of money, you can also do that, but no one makes a lot of money with 10 different income streams at first. They focus on one first, grow that, then add another one. And also, if you look in California, everyone that's rich here, like 90% of people who are rich here, it's just because they own one piece of property. That's it. And most people do not buy a piece of property from being an entrepreneur. They do it from saving for 10 to 20 years and buying a house from their job. That's Most people do that. So just have to understand being an entrepreneur. That's why I like Matt's goal of 4,000 a week, because it's an all-in goal and you have to perform. It's different. Plus, thinking of it from the other side of the point of view, I don't want to date someone who has a side hustle. Honestly, it's not an attractive thing. It's much more, but dating a business owner is like the sexiest thing you can possibly say. I run a company with employees. To me, that's the American dream. You're so abundant, you can help other people make a living. That's really, 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 really hard. Like, like you go to sleep and they go home and they're good. They're paid. You as the entrepreneur, you're not paid yet till all the other bills are paid. And that is a sexy thing. The thing is, dating a workaholic is the like a cause of divorce. So there's the balance. Let's see. Your husband wants a cutoff time. Yeah, that's true. And this is very true too. Michelle is saying that the line is all personal. This is also very important. You could be like very Gary Vaynerchuk, and his wife understands that he likes to work a lot, and it's probably okay. But you have to pick the right spouse. You can't be Elon Musk and have a wife that you can't. If Elon Musk has a normal wife and he told her something like, I can only hang out with you 10 hours a week or something, that's will cause a divorce if you have a normal person as a wife and they're not okay with being like a scheduled piece of your life. Yeah, that is true. Sustainable frugal living is saying reducing expenses creates apathy. I agree with that, because I'm going to end the call on this thought. Apathy kills your productivity. When you really want something, you want to chase this person to become your partner, you're dating, you're chasing a car, a watch, financial independence, you're chasing something, your desire is so high. But when you are like, I'm going to reduce my expenses, when you play defense, you become really apathetic, like, oh, nothing matters. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. And then what's the point of even working if you get to the point where you could just live with your parents and eat ramen and retire on $3,000 if they let you stay there? So it is a fine balance. Desire is challenging. Everyone has the desire to be loved, the desire for sex, the desire for food, the desire to be significant. Usually the desire for material goods, at least some, like at least a house and some stuff, but it's definitely very challenging. Workaholics are maddening. Yeah, I don't know. It comes at a huge cost. And also, and there's too many things to end this column, but this one I'll actually end it on. The when you are starting your own business, the number one thing that people drop is their friends. That's the number one thing that happens. When you start a business, you become kind of antisocial. Second, you lose your hobbies. So you have to be careful. If you run a business and you lose your hobby and you lose your friends, it's kind of not worth it. That's why you should, I don't know, it's a challenge. It's different than a job. I kind of feel like you have more freedom in a 9-to-5. That might not be a popular opinion. But I had more free time when I was a 9-to-5 person. Even though I worked on like a 9-to-7, I still feel like I had more free time.
Hey, Chris, before you ended, did you get the email I sent you after last night's mastermind? It would have just had that company name that we discussed at the very beginning.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just thought you might want to check them out. They
Mhm.
seem to do a good job. I mean, their customer service is there anyway. I don't know that I found a site that doesn't have any glitches here or there. I
No.
kept blaming all the eBay glitches on them, and come to find out it wasn't them after all. It was eBay. So I think
right.
I owe them one.
All right, everybody. Everybody have a great night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow or tonight. Take care.
Hey, man, thanks for all your help.
Bye.
Thank you.